Okay, now today we are going to be tuning up the 08 Escalade that happens to have a 6.2 LS platform engine. Now, like I said, I haven't had an LS platform engine for a while, and I'm quite excited to have it. These things are awesome. I mean, they go in, you can stick them in anything. They make stupid amounts of power, and they're pretty simple to work on. I mean, they're a standard, cam and block engine. They're not overhead cam. They have push rods and everything, but they just make incredible amounts of power. And coming from a background, for me, working on and for Ford, these things would seem kind of foreign, but most people learn how to work on cars by having an older car. And this engine is really similar to the older style engines, minus the fact that it has multi-port fuel injection. So a normal tune-up consists of changing your plugs and your wires. Well, on this one, that's pretty easy. Your spark plugs are here. Boom, 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 boom. And your wires, if you want to call them wires, are right here. They're literally like 6 inches long. So you can see it's pretty straightforward. So I have new wire set here, and the nice thing is they're all the same length, so you don't have to match them with the old ones. And oh, that's broken. That sucks. I'll have to fix that. And the other nice thing is they're not buried down inside the cylinder head like you would find on a Ford modular, which is what I'm primarily used to. So this thing's it's kind of nice to see some really cool differences on these things that make life easier. So just take this guy off, and you can see these wires are freaking old. So we take the wire off first. We'll take our spark plug socket. And you want to be gentle with this because you don't know when the last time it was done, and you don't want to bugger up the thread. So this one feels like it's kind of tough, so there it goes. And you can see how easy changing an alternator is because it's right there, and then you have the nice engine cover. These are just really cool engines. when I had my SS, I really enjoyed the power these things make. And yeah, this thing, with the all-wheel drive and the 6.2, it's stock, and it just puts you back in your seat. Yeah. That's pretty gnarly. On spark plugs, they have what's called a gap. And the gap, that's the AC sticker. I don't see the gap information. Now the gap is here. This little gap that the spark has to jump through. Now, engines have a preset gap because it's set depending on how the ignition system's configured. Now, this gap is really freaking big. Now, these are Autolite Extreme Performance, but these probably haven't been done in freaking ages because you can see the gap on the new one is significantly smaller. So there is no way that this thing is not going to run better. So go ahead and I like saving the old spark plugs. So set it right there. Now what I do, because this is an aluminum headed engine and these are steel body on the plugs, so you use this anti-seize, and it helps the plugs thread in properly, and it helps you from getting any rust or buildup on the threads that might keep you from changing these if you need to in the future. It's a good idea to do this. So those plugs are gnarly. I wanted to tune it up first because this, like I said, this thing has a couple check engine light codes. One of them is catalyst efficiency below threshold. Now what that means is the engine is seeing, or the PCM is seeing, that the catalytic converters are not performing like they should. So in this vehicle and vehicles that watch the Cat, there'll be what's called an upstream sensor and a downstream sensor. If this is the Cat, the upstream sensor is usually right on the exhaust manifold before the first Cat, and the downstream sensor is usually after the cat that it wants to monitor. So what the engine will do is it'll look at this one and say, hey, you know, there's unburned fuel here. And then it looks at the other sensor and says, okay, hey, the unburned fuel has been significantly reduced, so the cat's working. But if it doesn't see a difference between the two sensors, then it assumes that the cat's bad because the unburned fuel is passing through it. Well, you want to make sure that the engine's running properly, because if this thing's misfiring and sending unburned fuel down the exhaust manifold through the cat might not be able to handle that much unburned fuel. So some could get through anyway, even if the cat's working. And so this is the first step to, you know, checking it and, you know, seeing if we can take care of that. I mean, it was misfiring anyway, so I wanted to do this to begin with, but there's a good chance this might actually fix it. If not, I might have to replace the cats, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I mean, this is literally the first thing I'm doing to this truck. So I am quite excited. And this is gonna be a really fun vehicle to drive. So got that on. Stay. Now we'll get one of the wires and we'll take this little heat shield off, slide it on the new wire. Now what this is dielectric grease. It's spark plug grease. So what it does is you put a little bit, just a little dab on the end, and it helps keep moisture out from around the spark plug. And this one, because the boots push up, if you wash the motor, you could get water pushing down in there. So you just want to lube this guy up all nice, and that should help keep moisture out. So we're gonna go ahead and you'll hear it push in. It locked. Nice positive lock. And this one too. Just rock it up. Boom. Just like that. So we are going to do the rest of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this cylinder head, and I'll come back. It's literally exactly just like I did. So you wanna make sure you push tight, and I will be back with you guys. We got one side done so far, and all these plugs, except this one, are trashed. Those gaps are so big on those things. So there's no way that this engine will not run better. So got that side done, and we are on to this side. Now there's a little bit more stuff in the way, like the hoses and whatnot, but it is definitely not an issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this side, and I'll come back. We are all done, and it really needed it. You can see this is the passenger side, and this is the driver's side. And they are absolutely just spent. So I don't think there is any reason why this thing's not gonna run better. Oh, there we go. The little stumble's gone. All right, well, that's a win. I think the next project will be to change the oil, but thanks for following along. I appreciate the support, and that's how you do spark plugs and wires on an LS. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Have a good one.